Tonight, well, it's brass bands, it's pipe bands and it's marches out at the Homestead Stadium first up, and then we rush off to the airport to catch up with John and Naomi Cowan, and they are experts on parenting, so they're going to give us some good tips on how to keep away those child headaches. And then, thirdly for the day, we're going to be checking out flower power. The 60s are gone, but flower power remains. We have a test case on exactly what influence a flower can have on someone who's ill. Fascinating. Check that out a wee bit later. But first up today, it's the administration building of the City Council. It was decided to refurbish it. The cost was $2.4 million, a loan to be taken out with an annual cost of $150,000. Then suddenly there's a petition, 7,000 signatures saying don't do it, don't waste the money. And then council are deciding perhaps we should defer the decision. Is council bowing to public pressure, or are they just fudging the decision? Welcome into studio tonight to Lewis Crimp, organiser of the petition. Welcome, Lou. And Bruce Pagan, City Councillor and Chairman of Finances and Corporate Services. Good evening. How much effect did that 7,000 signatures have on the council's thinking?
I think a big effect. I mean, it would be unwise to ignore such a public result.
If those 7,000 signatures panned out, would that be enough to force a loan, a poll?
Yeah, I believe it would be enough to force a poll, but I'd like to save the ratepayers the $50,000 to conduct that poll, accept the inevitable result and accept the large body of public opinion against it and have another look.
Lou, have the people spoken?
7,000 of them have.
I'm looking at
7,000 out of 21,000. That's a tremendous result.
I'm looking at the actual wording of the thing here. I'm just quoting here. Vote against wasting ratepayers' money. If you're against the Invercargill City Council spending your rate money on things that are not needed, for example, printing up the council offices at a cost of $2.459 million, then sign this petition. Do you think that's helping to clarify the information, that heading to the petition?
I think, it's not for me to determine how the petition's worded. I mean, that's how people will judge it. The council, I think, has got an obligation to make sure that people are informed, and if it hasn't done its homework properly, then it jolly well should do.
Lou, Crimp, do you think that the information is in that heading? Or do you think that's something that, I mean, if the average person picked that up, what would they do?
It may be a bit extravagant, but we had to draw their attention to it. Almost everybody that we put it in front of and says, we'd like to sign this. I don't know that many people get the Southland Times, because a lot of people didn't know what it was about. We had to explain it to them, that they were going to spend $38,500 on furniture for the staff room and all this sort of stuff.
Was furniture in that bill, Bruce?
It's total, all-inclusive, yes.
Right, okay. Right, so in this petition, if you see that heading, vote against wasting ratepayers' money, you think that's what catches their eye for a start, Lou? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay, now council looking at deferring it, Bruce, why is that?
Well, we were in the process of, hopefully we'll confirm that we are going to proceed with an efficiency audit of the council structure, management structure, staffing, resources. And I believe it would be unwise to carry out any major refurbishment of any building until such time as we've considered the results of that audit. Because if you're going to proceed with the refurbishment, you're saying that you've predetermined the result of the audit. And I don't think that's the case at all.
Lou, you're happy that an audit's going to go ahead? Does that save the petition?
Oh, certainly, but I'd like the audit to be done not by Audit New Zealand. I'd like it to be done by Keep It Local and done by a local chartered accountant with expertise in efficiency. Because I don't think the Audit Department or Audit New Zealand, what do they call themselves, I don't think they're not tuned to look out inefficiencies.
Bruce, who will the council opt for to do the audit?
I'm recommending Audit New Zealand. I completely disagree with Lou. We're talking about an efficiency audit of a major local authority, not a private company or a corporate concern. We're talking about an audit that will advise council on statutory requirements, particularly on financial management as a result of recent legislation that's being passed. And I believe Audit New Zealand at this moment is one of the few large authorities in the country that have the knowledge to provide council with that advice.
The local accountant, has he got the knowledge on the Local Authority Act, Lou?
Well, I don't believe that's where they should be looking at whether they comply with statutory obligations, all that sort of stuff. I think they should be looking at how efficient they are, how many clerks they've got to do a certain job, how many people are wandering around over there with bits of paper in their hand.
Is Audit New Zealand going to look at that?
Dead right. And I mean, any member of the public who visits the building, I'm sure, is an auditor in their own right, and they'll be able to tell you exactly that. But we want the audit department to look at the whole issue of the council structure and its management styles.
Is there a danger of it being a bit in-house if you've got a company that's set up like that?
No, I believe Audit New Zealand have the sufficient expertise to be objective in carrying out the audit.
What would you really like to see, Lou, in the audit?
I don't think the audit department could find their own lunch, let alone any inefficiencies there. I think it should be a local account, keep the money in the city.
Can we keep the money in the city, Bruce?
I still prefer, in this instance, to go with Audit New Zealand to carry out the audit.
Lou, I just feel that there could be another petition coming on.
No, we can only get a petition to stop the council from borrowing money to do something. Right. But apart from that, they can do as they please.
That's not quite true, of course, and as Lou well knows, that the council listens to anybody who cares to communicate with it, and if he's got an opinion and expresses it, we'll listen.
They didn't listen to me when I made submissions to the district plan, the strategic 20-year plan. I put a proposal to the council of submissions and ideas that would save the city 50% of the rates, and there was no notice taken of that whatsoever. I could guarantee if they follow what I said, for example, what the Papakura Council are doing, the rates in the city can be halved.
This is mainly selling off assets and
yes.
privatising everything.
Yes.
And you see this civic administration building as one of the first things to perhaps go?
Well, there's another thing that pops up here too. If all the councils are going to be amalgamated, we probably won't need that building. They could probably bunk in with the Southland District Council.
Is that, just in finishing, because we have to go now, Bruce, is that also in the back of your mind looking at this, that you could end up amalgamated?
I have to be honest, it is. It's certainly a preferred option of mine.
Thank you very much, Lewis Crimp, and thank you, Bruce Fagan. So the Civic Administration Building, it seemed to be one issue, but it encompasses just about every issue, including the amalgamation of the three councils, possibility of that in the wind. We'll be back shortly with, we're going to have the best parenting tips since the discipline, and we'll also be checking out those pipe bands out at the Homestead Stadium. See you shortly.